Warning.
You are now tuned in to 7 Mile Radio.
Production.
7 Mile Radio.
Peace, peace, and divine love. You are tuned into Tap In Talk Radio. I am one of your co-hosts, Osa. We got Tanisha in the house too.
Hey everybody.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
We also have April returning with us. Hey girl.
Hey, how y'all doing?
All right, and we have two male guests in the house.
Yes.
We have Craig returning with us. How you doing, Craig?
Doing great.
Thank you for coming back in with us and
Absolutely.
showing love. And then we also got, this is my best friend. I call him Slick, but his name is Ricky.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Slick.
How you doing,
Slick
Slick?
Ricky.
That's just my name. That's my
Slick
name.
Nova Slick Rick. That's
Yeah.
you man. Slick Rick. There's a lot of songs that
You
refer
gotta
to
put
Slick
your
Rick.
mic where you talking into it, bro. But don't block the camera. Yeah.
All right.
Yep. Right there. That's perfect.
So yeah, how y'all feeling today?
I'm feeling really energized myself. And that's the perfect word for it, is energized. It's been I wouldn't say a long time coming, but coming out of I just blame everything on the winter and lack of sun in comparison to having sun and feeling more energized. So yeah, that's how I'm feeling right now. It's
The sun
more and more
definitely
energized.
activates you.
Yes, right. Like I'm feeling it. Gemini season and all. I'm feeling
Yeah.
it. I'm feeling it all.
We got a Gemini in the house?
Good job.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Okay.
happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Right, happy
Craig.
birthday to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Birthday.
For sure.
Yes.
Yes, that's how I'm feeling.
That's
How's everybody else
Gemini.
feeling?
Yeah, how about everybody else?
Don't start.
Oh, I'm good.
You good? You good, Slick?
I took a long nap today. I'm straight.
All right now. Naps are critical. We need naps.
Crucial.
Yes.
Oh, but when it's hot, especially, that heat will drain you.
Oh, yes.
And y'all have to be careful. That's a good caveat, because that heat will drain you. People had heat strokes and don't even know they had heat strokes, and they sleep, wake up. It's so hot, the temperature rose up. You went to sleep one way, but now y'all be careful. You stay hydrated, keep a fan around. If you become shortness of breath, start sweating, whatever, you catch get a cold towel, cold rag on yourself. That's the best thing you can do, because the heat is coming, and that's the sign of our times. It's about to be hot.
Yes.
And these towels in Detroit, they brick.
Yeah.
Be real, you know what I mean? They all brick. It don't even matter.
Oh, also shout out to Mr. 7 Mile Radio himself.
Hey,
Oh, what did I do? What's happening? What's going on?
We just gotta acknowledge you
Marcus
too.
in the house.
You know,
Marcus in the house.
Marcus always in the house.
Yep.
Just
I'm
want to
here.
give you your
I'm
little
here.
spotlight,
I'm
you
here.
know. Yes. Today is a new moon in Gemini.
Oh, I feel so good.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So this new moon is dealing with communication, dealing with love, dealing with setting intentions on creating a life that you want. So kind of like a big reset, a lot of transformation, but a lot of energy catapulting you into the lane you're supposed to be in. So I know I've been feeling amazing with it.
Yeah, I feel
Everything
totally
been
amazing
buzzing.
with it. Yes.
Everybody around me seem to be having good news.
It's a buzz. Ain't it like a little buzz
It
going on?
is.
It's definitely a little buzz. The whole this whole spirit of new beginnings is classified as a moon of new beginnings.
Yes.
Venus is in a very positive place. It is just a wonderful time for beauty and relationships, and that doesn't mean intimate relationships, like just having really
Just love in
beautiful
general.
relationships with one another.
Yeah.
It's a great time to begin that type of path or journey to making that so for you.
And high key on self love though.
Yes, self is a beautiful time for all that,
Self-love.
for all of those positive, beautiful things.
So
It's a beautiful
pampering
time.
yourself, like Slick said, napping, like
Yeah, and
taking
some
time.
sunbathing, tan a little bit, whatever. Don't be scared to get in the pool, y'all. Stop standing around the pool.
get your hair wet a little bit. It's all right.
Stop, at least come on now.
Yes.
We get to our topic. OC, you want to tell us folks what we talking about?
Well, our topic today is men ripping off the Band-Aid. So we have some brothers on the panel today that are going to represent, okay? But we want to talk about black men healing in general. You know, what that looks like, how the men feel supported, and definitely just speaking from a man's point of view. with the support of the women here on the panel. So yeah, I forgot how to go on into that, but I'm gonna let you take over.
Well, I'm always better at surmising our conversations. That's
Yeah.
all, because we saying the same thing. And how we had approached it earlier today was just to kind of come to you guys and discuss, starting with the vision of a healed man in your sense of the word, and what that would look like for you, or what that does look like for you, and then kind of dissecting that in terms of how do you get there, right? And what it means to you doesn't have to mean what you are. It just doesn't have to be an overly personal conversation, right? I mean, but of course, we want to share our testimonies and our wisdom as much as we can. So of course, I will just present the question. What does a healed man look like to another man? Like, what is that a vision as for a man, a black man particularly? We all know the challenges.
He looked like a punk.
Yeah.
No.
Perhaps it does.
No.
Like, let me explain. Can you
Yeah,
explain more?
let me explain. To the general public, a healed man can sometimes look like a punk, a simp, whatever. But other healed men, or other men who are mature, can see that man is healed. Like, he's gotten past his situations. And a healed man, I'm a nurse by profession. A healed man knows what hurt him. And because he knows what hurt him, he knew how to prescribe what to do to heal him. So, like, he knows that if he has this scar and his scar is infected, he can't just keep putting a Band-Aid over the scar. You got to go get some antibiotics. You got to wash it with soap and water. You got to let some air get to it. You got to do all of that stuff before you say that you're healed. Because if you just keep putting a Band-Aid on it, guess what? It gets bigger and bigger. And then it creates something that we call sepsis, which is a blood infection. So your whole body is tore up because you just thought it was a scratch, and you just put a Band-Aid over it real quick, and you didn't sit there and look at it and say, oh, it's a scratch, but they got some pus coming out of it, and it's
That's
dead
a really
skin
good
here.
analogy.
Like,
Very good.
Like,
That's a really good analogy.
Osaranga, we've been friends since high school. So all of my relationships from high school up until now, she knows intimately about them. Like, when I cried and when I was mad, when I was wrong, when I was right. In every relationship, every non-platonic relationship that I've had with a woman, at the end of it, I knew from the beginning that this ain't gonna work out. But sometimes I was like, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna see what it's gonna do. And it's like, this one was too young. This one was literally a whore. Like, and I'm not saying that derogatively. She was a prostitute. This one was this. This one was that. And I just tried to change a grown person. And we can't do that.
And I wanted to, Craig, what is your vision of what a healed man is, or what it looks like in real time?
In real time, a healed man, to me, appears to be a man who has overcome the things he's encountered in life and able to live in a positive way.
Can you say that again? Time out. Pause, no Diddy. Bro, you got a radio voice. Say it again. Bro, coming out here to get a job.
A healed man.
Up in the morning. What that say? Good morning.
Talking like you spoke Marlboro's. Keep going.
All right, cool. But a healed man is a man who's able to live positively in spite of his scars, like you use, in spite of those scars, in spite of what he's encountered in life. If he's able to continue to life in a positive way, not look at it as, and let those things hold him because, the possibilities, if you just be positive. So, healed man starts with an optimistic attitude. Being healed, you have to be positive.
Oh, for sure.
I like that.
For sure.
I like that too.
Mark, come on in the conversation. What
I
does
mean,
it look like for you? What does it look like for you?
As I was thinking about it, I was like contrasting in a relationship, right? You know how I always say you can't charge the new people in your life with the crimes that the old people committed against you. So being healed in life is kind of the same thing. You're just applying it to your days as opposed to a person. You know what I mean? So you're not walking through life on eggshells because of the things that you like. Basically what he said, you're not walking through your life scared or, like I said, on eggshells, worried about the things that happened in the past. You know, you know how to prevent them now. You know what I mean? Kind of like what Rick said. You know, when you hurt, you know what hurt you. So you know how to heal it. So now in the future, you know how to prevent those things from happening. You know what I mean? So that's part of your healing is knowing the obstacles and preventing yourself from running into them walls in the future. You know what I mean? Whether it be with people or in life, whatever it is. You know what I mean? So,
As well as making decisions. You know, a healed man makes better decisions than he made that got him into that situation. So you won't continue to make the same steps and go into the same relationship the same way.
Yeah.
You know, if you're healed, you know, if I make these steps this way, what's going to happen? It's going to be the same result. So you have to know that healing comes from within, and you have to do it. It's nothing no one else going to do. Life not going to just say, you know, because time passed, you're healed now. No, it don't work that way.
it's your decision-making process that have to change. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Mark said something that really caught me, and I really tried to hold on to it. And also, I want you to get I wanted to start dissecting that. And Mark said something. Said a trigger word to me, which is scared, right? And so I want y'all to talk about or express or share y'all experiences with fear, an idea of fear, and healing and overcoming fears. You know, whatever that may mean for you. And we can start with you, Ricky, in terms of fear and how you've had to heal those types of ideas and thoughts.
The best thing that keeps me from being scared is a simple rule that I learned from one of the most toxic people I've ever heard, Joe Budden. He said, as far as relationship goes, never give a woman more than you want her to leave with. That creates the scarred man or the unhealed man, because at the end of a situation, oh, well, I spent all this money on you, or I quit this job and I moved to such and such. Like, never give a woman more than you want her to leave with. Once you start doing that and you don't get the reciprocation, now you feel used, and now you feel, oh, she tricked me and she did this, she did that. No, you did it to yourself. Because most times that men give women things, women ain't asking for it.
It's a matter of motivation, right?
He's
That's why
like,
you have to check yourself.
If I do this, if I blah blah blah, she gonna do this to me, and she gonna be here for me. And it's like, no. Once she decides to leave and she want to leave, your ass is just left lonely. But if you never gave her more than you wanted her to leave with, when she leaves, guess what? It's gonna hurt some, but it's not gonna hurt to where you're doing detrimental stuff to yourself or to others.
Right.
That's the thing that keeps me from being scared. Like, I can get in any relationship now and not be scared of it ending because I'm not overexerting myself or overexerting my resources.
Right. Yeah, I think that walking into any type of relationship or friendship and giving more than you should, or just giving in general, like it should come from the heart, you know. So like you shouldn't do it and be expecting something in return. Like
that's
the
source
whole
of insecurity, ain't it?
Yeah, and control and manipulation. You know, like you expecting something, so you doing it to get something out of it.
You're not doing that shit because you genuinely love the person or care about it, want them to have it to you.
Yeah.
You're doing that shit for a receipt so you can come back and say, hey, I did this for you, do this back for me.
And
type shit. That's not genuine. That's not, I don't even want, if you're doing something for me just to throw it back up in my face, you can keep that shit.
So that fear, it breeds insecurity. And
Yes.
It breeds major
Definitely.
you know what I'm
insecurity.
saying?
Definitely
like,
coming from
and
insecurity.
then you have to heal from that those types of fears or those types of insecurities. And Craig, what about fear? That concept of fear, how that, black men have to be healed from that fear, because, I always refer to the fact that I have adult sons, and it's a fear in the world. It's all kind of fears they encounter in terms of being healed individuals and faith, and showing up as their true self every day. Fear of ridicule, fear of rejection, fear of this, fear, all
Fear of
types of stuff. Fear, fear of humiliation, like that will hold you back in life that you don't have. But if you just could overcome those types of ideas of fear, about fear itself, and I know the Bible speak about fear, and it is so true.
That's
so
where
please,
I kind of thought, the Bible speaks of fear, so when I think of fear, it's like one of those forces that you have to be prepared for, so fear to me, I'm going to overcome it with faith. The Bible says, the Lord is my shepherd, I should fear no evil. So anything that's not positive, anything that's not going to be good, I don't look at it as something that I should be afraid of. fear slows you down. It stops your actions. It stops your thought processes. It's really a disease. So you can't act in it, because the more you act in it, the further you go. And if you're a black man and you made it past certain ages, you have seen a lot of things that you should have fear has brought upon you. So overcoming that and then saying, I'm not going to let that ever happen again, because I know how I felt and I wasn't able to react properly, made me, then when I did act without using fear, I overcame it because I didn't act that way.
Yeah, you make some impulsive decisions based on all types of fears, right?
Yeah,
Like,
if I
oh
could,
my goodness, yes.
Throw a little bit more in there.
Yes, please. It's fine.
Just in general, like when you were just saying, like, oh, fear holds you back. Along with me being a nurse, which is a scary profession in itself, I work security too. And like, that's a scary thing to work with, even when it's nobody in the building. It was one building that took me an hour to do a round in it. I had to go upstairs, downstairs, in like the darkest of places and everything. And all I got is a flashlight, because they're like, oh, no guns here, no weapons. And it's like, so what happens when somebody comes here? Right. So fear is not being prepared for that. Because guess what? If I had a gun or a weapon, if somebody pops up out of the basement, I'm kind of prepared for it, because the most that you can have is a gun and a weapon. The most that I have is a gun and a weapon. Now we're equal. But if all I got is this flashlight, I'm gonna shine you to death. But fear holds you back from walking into that basement, because it's like, I don't know what's down there. Even as children, we were scared of the dark and scared to go in the basement, because what the hell is down
I wouldn't care. I feel like when I was driving Uber and they didn't want us to have a gun in the car, I said, I'd rather have a lawsuit with Uber than dead. In court, explaining why I had to pop a dude that jumped out the dark. You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm a Michigan registered CPL holder. I'm carrying my gun, dog. That's
that
my
part
life.
right there. That part right there.
So
like,
I rather I'm gonna get paid up until the point that you sue me because I had to kill somebody because you won't allow me to have my gun on the premises while I'm protecting something that you paid me to protect.
That part.
Yeah, bringing my gun with me. Fuck that.
Thank you. OC, you have some question?
Well, you had mentioned the whole. You mentioned simp, right?
Ooh, yeah.
So
that's my favorite word.
Yeah, right. So I find that so interesting because a lot of people do call the healed man a simp. Like when he knows himself, when he knows how he shows up in his role, with exchanging energy with a woman and holding that space with a woman, it's usually the unhealed men who throw that label out there to these men.
I was about to say and this usually when the healed man doesn't respond to the woman, it's usually a woman when that happens. The way that the toxic man would, you know what I'm saying? Oh, you a simp. You didn't respond to this situation the way I am. I know I'm a strong man. I'm a, you know what I mean? I'm
big alpha brute. Male.
This big brute, right? Yeah, that alpha shit. Fuck alphas. Yeah. But anyway, that's usually what it is the fucked up dude that's responding that way, trying to make you feel bad, you know, because you healed. You know what I mean? Or because he don't possess what you have. I would say to do what you did in that moment.
Yeah, like Russell Wilson is like, he's the quintessential simp.
He the mascot.
It's like from the beginning. Like, people's like, well, Sierra, she had Bow Wow, and she had Future, and she had this and had that, and I'm like,
all that didn't matter to him, apparently.
Honestly, that shit wouldn't matter to me, because guess what? I don't want no virgin.
And fine.
There we go.
And give me a woman that ain't never had nobody, right?
Yeah, you ain't gonna find that. The only difference is you know that she was with this man because of a baby. You know that she was with this man because of this. You know that she was with this man because of that. Any man, the real simp, the real punks and wimps, if you ever let a man tell you the woman that you can't have, and you be like, well, why can't I have her? Well, she was with John down the street. Okay, they still together? No, he did her wrong. Like, future is future. I wish the hell Russell Wilson would be like, well, she was with a rapper, and she was with these rappers and 50 Cent, and she ain't gonna want me. That man changing her life, she changing his life.
Listen.
Russell is the real alpha. I'm gonna get some flack for this. Fuck y'all niggas. Russell is the real alpha male, because my thing is always been, I don't have any children, but if I ever have children, I'll be damned if I let another man think that he can raise my son better than me.
Or better than the alpha. I don't know why everybody just talk about the alphas and the betas. We're all talking about the omegas and the sigmas.
Well, you know, that's something that I was going to present to you guys in terms of healing in relation to leadership, right? Can an unhealed man be a good leader, right?
No, because he's toxic.
What I'm just presenting the question. If not, say it. If so, say I don't have an opinion myself.
No,
I'm asking a question.
An unhealed man is equivalent to a rotten strawberry in a strawberry patch. When a fresh strawberry can be big and strong. That little rotten strawberry or big strong rotten strawberry, as soon as it touches that one, it literally molds that one. MOLD. It molds that one, and then it molds the next one, and it molds the next one. That toxic, unhealed man, he can't do shit but make everything else behind him toxic and unhealed.
Indeed. I mean, because where do we expect the unhealed man to lead us to?
To more hurt.
If he don't even know himself, you know what I'm saying? So he's not going to know how to show up. He's not going to know how to protect you. Not going to know how to hold space for you or even allow a woman to flourish because he's battling himself, which in turn he's going to battle you. And you can't leave me nowhere battling me.
You know,
Then what you think?
I think a healed man, an unhealed man, gonna lead. He still can be a leader. I mean, a man can lead just by repetition. You know, you learn how to do something, you can be a leader. Now, is he gonna lead you to the place you're trying to go to? Probably not.
Yeah.
You know, it's more of where you're trying to go to and whether the person, if you're trying to go this way and they're pulling you this way, they're leading you. But are you following that way? So
I like that you
a
said
leader
that.
is gonna.
Because
man can
masculine
lead no
energy
matter
leads
what.
regardless.
Just like a
Yeah,
person,
don't
just
lead
like you can learn,
regardless.
just
That's
like
a
you
very
can,
good point.
just
Right
like
to
a
the cliff.
child, right? You can teach a child what not to be by being a bad example, right? So
Yeah.
you can lead them into the wrong direction. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, about a person that's not healed can lead, but that's why a lot of women are in a situation where they're in, where they find themselves running into a wall of living a life that they're trying to escape with this man because you let this man lead you to a
Unhealed
place
man, yeah.
where it's a dead end. It's a dead end.
I mean, it's a lot of lives. People look back at life and say, man, I was with this person and my life deteriorated from this point to this point. Women, you know, they go back over it and say, what a bad decision. I followed him. He led her. He just didn't lead her where she wanted to go.
Yeah.
So
You
it's a
talking,
matter
boy.
of
That-
leadership.
definitely.
I mean, you're going to be
Definitely.
led. It's just a
Definitely.
matter of where you're being led to.
Yeah.
It's the whole point of it all.
Come through with the wisdom.
That is wisdom because I had one relationship where people be bringing her up, and this is how I know that I've grown. I started off with like, she wasn't that bad. Then like a couple years later, they asked about it and were like, man, fuck that bitch, she ruined my life. And then like a couple years later, I was like, it was a decent time. And they was like, well, why was you still with her? And like I told the truth, like, she just looked so good naked. Like that was it. Like that was my mistake. I was following
Your own
the flesh.
desires.
Yeah, my own desires.
Yeah,
so
and,
like,
and talk about healing and desires because you do
Yeah.
heal your desires, right? Your
Yeah, 'cause,
desires
like,
have to heal.
at the end of the day, I'm sitting here looking at all the destruction that led from that relationship, and I'm like, dog, you let
From
all
your
of that
own
shit
desires.
slash because she looked good naked. Like you the weak, like you a weak nigga for falling for it. You can't blame that woman. You can't sit here and call her whatever names you want to call her. You can't blame her for nothing. At the end of the day, you're a man. You're
You
supposed to
followed
be.
your desire.
I followed it the wrong
Craig,
way.
what do you say about the whole healing and desire and how those correlate?
Healing and desire, I mean, you have to control your desire. You can't be led by your desires. So being healed is knowing the difference. You know, I like to go out and hang out and have a good time, you know, but that comes with being not frugal with my finances. Now, if I'm trying to do something with my finances, I shouldn't be hanging out and doing these things. So then I have to not allow my desires to control me and say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, because that's just what my desires want to do. You know, I want to go out, take a lady out on a date when I got to pay my DTE bill, but I'm taking somebody out on a date, and I'm going to say, because that's what I want to do. No, controlling my desires. I want to go out and have a good time. Maybe we can go to the water. Maybe we can just go for a ride. But to spend my money in that setting wouldn't be smart if I have things to do with it. So controlling my desires to do what I want to do is not healed. You know, I should be able to do what I need to do and then know what I want to do after that and go with that, you know. Not saying you shouldn't feel your desires, you know, just to say that prioritize them.
Yeah, work before play.
Yes.
Making
Awesome.
mature decisions is what I was hearing with
Totally.
that.
Yes.
Yeah. That's all.
April, you haven't spoken this
At
evening.
all.
Would you like to say hey? Say hey to the
Hey,
people.
girl.
I know it's
this
heavy,
was a-
it's
this was a
thick, ain't it?
different
It's
one
so
today.
thick. It's so thick in here, y'all. We just thank y'all for showing up tonight. Absolutely.
No, I feel like I agree with what everybody's saying.
You have any questions?
I feel like male healing, it don't always have to do with relationships. This can come from, are you healed from trauma with your dad, with your mom? That's a whole nother.
Childhood.
I've had experiences with men that the problem that I don't feel like they healed from was not from necessarily another woman. It might have been from their mother, their father, whatever they went through growing up.
Childhood,
You know, what their routine growing up, what they were taught growing up may not, be working for them now as an older person. Okay, well, you gotta look within yourself and heal yourself. Before you can, like you said earlier, you cannot drag stuff from the past into your present, future, whatever you want to call that. You cannot do that.
That just make you show up like a damaged person.
Yes.
Yeah,
Right,
that's
imagine meeting somebody and then all it takes is for them to say one thing and now you just turn into somebody else. Like, when I went you gonna do this, that's damage. That shit showing up, you know what I mean, from past shit. Like, you charging a new person.
I think a lot of men have from the father aspect.
relationship.
Yes, from the relationship with their father, have to work on looking within themselves and healing that part of themselves to feel better as a man for
I think
themselves.
that leads into my next question I had in terms of where do it start, right?
Yeah.
Is it looking into relationships with your parents? Where does that healing start? Is it, of course, anything can be a trigger to your healing. It could be a loss of job, a loss of relative. It could be something good could happen and it trigger healing. Like, oh, I got this windfall and I don't know what to do. I got to process myself, right? It doesn't have to be a good or bad thing, but how where do you start? For especially we're talking about black men tonight, so where would you suggest or say, or where did you start?
I definitely started the healing process as okay, let me get some clarification.
That's fine.
Is it just healing as a person, healing dealing with non-platonic relationships, healing dealing with relationships?
Healing as an
period?
individual.
As an individual?
Yeah. That's first, right? Like,
Definitely.
is that where you start? I don't know. Now I'm asking you.
Being
that's what
honest and
set the
holding yourself
tone.
accountable
Like,
for
is
your
that where you
bullshit
start?
and your errors.
Yeah.
How
I
do you
believe
do
that's
that?
what it did. Like, if I'm gonna be honestly for real, like my childhood was fucking glorious. It was golden.
And
I grew up
sometimes
with
it
my
be like
mom
that.
in the house. My stepdad, who raised me as like that's my daddy. Like, I have no problem saying that. Big Ricky is still alive for sure, but we all acknowledge Marvin raised me. I act like Marvin, all of that shit. Same lane, corny jokes. We got it. But I have my siblings in the house. We knew what a protector was. We knew what roles were in the house. So, like, I didn't have a traumatic childhood to even say that any of my issues as an adult stem from childhood. Even in school, like, I had good grades in school. They voted me like class most likely to succeed. I don't know if I stood up to that, but
That is a wonderful example because
Mr.
everybody
President.
thinks that you have to have like this traumatic childhood experience to yet need healing.
yeah,
Right,
but
it's like, oh, nothing. I came up good. I had two parents and all this kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
but shit,
I don't
like, as
need
an
healing
adult,
from nothing, and it's not the case.
I
No,
definitely,
not for everyone.
Yeah.
I definitely needed healing from things.
Yes.
Like, and it's just certain things. Like, I was talking to somebody earlier today, and we were talking about when we get a windfall of money. Like, we were looking at our credit, and it's like, okay, I owe $20,000 in student debt. I owe this much to taxes. I owe this much to here. I just had $10,000, and I spent it on something. But why didn't I take care of my debt? Like, I went and bought like a couch set or something, or I went and bought a TV, or I went and bought another car. And it's like, well, shit, when we was growing up, like, of course, like I just said, I had a golden childhood. I had shoes, but best believe when them Jordans came out, I was not expecting no Jordans. So when I became an adult and I'm making $50,000-$60,000 a year, when the Jordans come out, best believe I'm buying the Jordans and I'm gonna get on the DTE payment plan. Like, but that was an immature way of thinking at 22 years old. Now I'm 36. It's like, no, we can't do that. Them Jordans gonna be there. Right now, you need to pay your light bill because you ain't gonna be able to find your shoes at night if the light bill ain't paid. So the healing situation, even though I'm terrible at saving money, or guess what? I'm overweight right now. The healing situation could definitely be, and I don't even, as a child we used to eat steaks and stuff, but it's like now I overeat, and it's like, well, where does that come from? It's like that's something that I can work on with healing. Like I definitely got to deal with. Like, where does the overeating come from? Because I never had a problem where we went to sleep hungry. I never had a problem where we didn't have what other people had. Like on Facebook, they were like, "Oh, you know, when the kids ate hamburgers, the parents ate steaks." Like, no, the fuck, we all ate steaks. Like we all have spaghetti and soup. Like we had some good ass shit. Like we don't eat. We just don't like seafood. So we didn't have crab legs growing up. But
I think my kids was like that.
yeah, so we definitely like that's something that I got to deal with. But like I don't know where a lot of my fuck ups as an adult came from, where I need to heal myself. It's just I know that I came to a fuck up point, and it was like, oh shit, you got to do better.
So you got to start by looking at yourself.
Oh yeah. I got to figure out this eating thing for sure though.
So, Craig,
Healing for me kind of started
start?
at the point of, you know, when I knew I was responsible for myself. You know, I had a hard childhood, so I was in a foster system, you know, so, and then I was with my mother as well, so I had different levels of life through childhood, and it was traumatizing. And I knew as an adult, as a young adult at 16, I was responsible for myself. If I was going to make it in life, I was going to have to take accountability for Craig. It wasn't no one else. I couldn't blame anyone. No one was there to blame. My mother wasn't there. By the time I was 24, my mother had passed. My father was already deceased at one. So I had no one to blame. I couldn't blame my brothers. Hey, they didn't care. You know, so I had to take accountability and say,
you ain't blame the
if
man?
I can't. I mean, no, the man don't got the
You didn't
man.
blame a lady?
I mean, the
You
man
didn't blame
played
the
his
lady?
role,
You
but
didn't blame
and a
the
lady,
lady?
no, it don't matter what happened,
No, I'm just
and that's
kidding.
what I
I'm just
understood.
kidding,
Started
like-
to understand the process of. It don't matter what happened. What matters is what you gonna do with it today.
You know, start
That's
your
the only
healing
thing that
process.
matters. That, and when that started my healing process. Now, did I heal that day? Maybe not. But did I know that I had to heal, and knowing is half the battle. And once
Okay,
I knew it, I
process.
started working on overcoming those things and healing, you know, and just knowing I needed to was enough for me day by day to start doing small things, just one thing at a time, just small items that I saw in life that would make me a better man.
So I need to get like unsweet tea instead of sweet tea when I go to McDonald's.
That's a good start, you know, or get rid of the tea altogether.
Drink water.
Drink water,
Bad,
you know,
bad.
and be a man about it, you know. And
That's
I don't, I'm not.
Choices.
No, I
okay,
got
you
you.
got me, you know.
Look,
Yeah, yeah.
we Craig and Dodo. We
For
good.
sure.
We
My
good.
God, my God.
Mark, Mark, speak on that.
Oh, what? What was the question? I was.
Where does healing start for black men in today's, you know, in today's society, essentially?
But like I said, being honest with yourself and holding yourself accountable for the things that you did that caused some of the error, right? Or holding yourself accountable for the things that you allowed to come into your life that caused the trauma. You know what I mean? As an adult, right? Because as a child, like you can't help some of the things that come into your life that cause trauma. But as an adult, you know, you can pretty much control, you know, the things and the people that come into your life that may cause you trauma. You know what I mean? So holding yourself accountable and being honest first, I think, in any situation as a man, if you're a man, right? Being honest, you know what I'm saying, in your own mind, you're going to lie to yourself. That's part of the problem then. That's why you is where you at. You lying to yourself. You ain't even honest with yourself about what the fuck you doing. And yeah, you see what I'm saying? So, you know, I think it start there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? With anybody, not just men, but as men, we need to hold ourselves, because who the fuck else, you know, is gonna hold ourselves? Who's gonna hold us accountable if we don't?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then you got to be like,
You gonna
harsh.
expect a woman to do it? No, because then you gonna respond with some bullshit because you already toxic and you ain't honest enough with
Ooh,
yourself.
that part.
Exactly.
You got to be harsh with it.
That
Like,
part.
one thing, like whenever I'm like financially strapped, I never blame like, oh, these bills and this stuff, because guess what? I choose how much I turn the lights on and off. I chose that damn car outside. I chose the project car I got. I chose all of these things that, and then when I be broke, I be like, nigga, that's your fault. Like,
Your
Man,
project
yeah,
car.
yeah.
You got a project car?
oh, y'all got an old Camaro.
Oh, Camaro.
Yeah.
I don't like the word broke when we talking about finances.
No, I be broke. Like,
You're unrich,
spent out.
you're
You be
unwealthy,
spent out.
right?
Yeah,
so because
don't
broke's
worry
like
about
broken,
powerful.
it's, you
Yeah.
can, because that's like can't, like, it needs to be fixed. Like, you're broke like
Oh,
this.
we do,
So when you're not, when you don't have, excuse me, when you don't have money, you're broken. To the you need to be fixed.
That might be part of the healing
Bro.
because
Yeah, what you think, Craig?
Broke
Broke.
is.
This is a good one too,
Yeah.
because this word threw around so much. What the fuck do it mean?
Broke
Like, am
is-
I broke or not?
No, nothing to work with, and not trying to work with nothing. You know, not
Yeah,
having
so that
now, you
goes
don't have
so
any
nothing to
bills.
work with. So that goes into your mind. Now you don't even have your mind to work. You can't even
Baby,
think of
if
shit.
you ain't got your mind,
So that's
what I
what
keep
yeah.
saying.
So when you say broken, it talks about your mentality. That's kind of the
Broke
core of what
ain't
I'm
paid.
talking about.
Broke
you know
ain't
what
I
I'm
paid
saying? It ain't
my
about
bills,
your finances.
and I took care of my business, and now I don't have any money. That's not broke. Broke is I didn't pay no bills. I don't have no bills, and I ain't about to get no bills to pay none.
okay. So
I
then,
think you
if you
being
said it
content.
like that,
I like how I
nah,
said.
Yeah, that makes me feel better when you say it. No, because like when I'm
Because we got to be careful with the words that we speak. That's just like I don't
What's
like.
going
I don't
on?
like. I don't like
I
saying.
like-
I don't like saying goodbye because that's final, right? That's like I'm never
Yeah.
gonna see you again. I'll see you later.
Right.
Speak that shit into it. I'll see you. You know what I'm saying? In a minute, dog.
You
Goodbye, nigga. That's final. That's you know what I mean.
We don't even answer in the phone calls with bye.
Yeah. Bye.
Fuck
What?
you, boy,
I don't like
see
saying
you
bye.
later.
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
But thank y'all for
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So that's definitely one of my a healing thing that I need to work on. Cause like when Osaraka called me, she was like, "Yeah, I think you healed," and I was like, "Healed? Like, no, you talking to the wrong nigga."
See, here's the thing, because she looking at the mentality that you have from the outside looking in. You looking at yourself internally, like, nigga, I'm fucked up. Like I ain't, but no, but
Oh,
see
my
what
goodness.
you, how you. I don't even want to say project because project is almost like a front. You know what I mean? But how you walk, you know, how you are, your
How you
persona,
carry
your
yourself.
aura, how you
Man.
carry yourself. That's what I was. That's what I was walking. That's what I was looking
People
for.
really be like looking at me and they be thinking like, "Dog, you got it perfect. Like, you got a nice house, you got this, you got that," and I be like,
I'm
I
fucked
could
up.
be doing better. Like,
Yeah,
and
right,
not
that
even I'm
part.
fucked up. It's like I can do better. Like, I can.
But they
have
looking
it.
at the type of person that you are, your mentality.
They are. Like,
That's
oh,
it,
we
you
can
know what I mean?
always count on you and everything, and that shit gets stressful. Like having everybody depend
Oh man,
on
tell me about it.
I want
Tell
to.
me about it.
That's
Tell me about it.
I think I'm gonna paraphrase what I'm hearing you guys speak on a little bit, which is the need to recognize your growth and the need to recognize and be patient with yourself at the same time. Right? I'm kind of hearing some of that than what you're saying in terms of so like, oh, I see your growth, I see your progress, and you're like, oh, well, this ain't, this old thing, one of those this old thing kind of, like, so in terms of, I think men sometimes can put a lot of pressure on themselves
Absolutely.
in terms of even healing, right? Because you get so wrapped up into healing, and now you just feel that you are an overly flawed person, right? When you've made progress and you've never actually been overly flawed, you know what I mean? And you have to. What do you think about in terms of what would you say to people in terms of being patient with yourself and recognizing progress when you make it?
that. Actually, I can't say a lot because like I don't like Osaranga know me. Like I'm not the type to brag and boast. Like if something happens, like it's super like
That, I was
low.
about to say that's the shit I struggle with because, like,
Yeah.
especially when you go so hard at something for so long and shit, you know what I'm saying, and you have to look back and shit. This to the point like you have a Steve Urkel moment, like, damn, did I do that and shit? You know what I mean? And it's just like I don't like to bask in the shit. Like everywhere I go and shit, oh Mark, ain't you doing? I mean, right now to this day, I probably went out to the credit union with my mom or some shit, bullshit, right? And people know me, and it's just like I don't never like get the big head about that shit. You know what I mean? So it's just like, yeah, you got to
But
stay.
I think you have to be humble, but I think you have to recognize progress and growth you made, especially if you've been
So
making
that's
the
my
effort
that's
to
to
do
a
so.
fault though. I think you know what I mean.
Yeah,
To myself,
because-
like I don't
it's
even
take a balance.
I don't even honor myself for what I am for
Yeah,
real.
like,
You know what
I
I'm
mean,
saying?
of
Like
course,
I'd rather
you want
hear
you-
from
you should
somebody
be
else.
humble.
You have to drive the car of life, so you have to be in that place where you hitting the brake, you hitting the gas. No, you don't want to stop yourself and say, I'm so this, that I don't have to do more, but you want to push yourself along, hitting the gas so that you are progressing forward to where you're trying to get to. So it's not always on the gas to where I'm this, I'm that, you so arrogant about it.
Yeah.
Is I'm braking, but I'm gassing too. Don't think I'm stagnant. And even if you think you don't see the movement, some things move in millimeters.
In silence.
So you can't count it, but when you look back at it, and then you see the growth, you see the progress, and then you can say, oh, it is progress in small steps.
Yeah.
So
But sometimes the turtle wins the race.
And then and then you never know who you touch and how with the things that you do. You know what I'm saying? That's what I learned to understand with this shit. You know what I mean? I had people running up on me with the how I would probably look at a celebrity, like somebody I look up to, like, man, you know what I mean? And people, I'm like, me and shit, like signing autographs and shit, like what? So it's just like and that's probably to a fault that I don't know, or anybody, right? Sometimes to a fault that you don't honor yourself for what you know that you are and shit. You know what I mean? And knowing your value.
Know your worth.
At the end of the day.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And one of sorry.
I don't even think it's that. Like, me and you are very similar in fact, because like behind closed doors, like me and you, we talked for at least the last 2-3 years.
Right.
You've done a lot that you don't say, that people don't know, and everything. And like, when people be like, oh, you do this, you do that, like, I'm not saying that. I would rather somebody else say it
Absolutely.
and me say, oh yeah, I'm just cool, like I'm just
You
chilling.
know what the crazy part about me is, like, I would rather some people not even know.
It's not even
Right?
know. Like,
Because there's a lot of times that people treat you accordingly what they feel like you have or don't have or done or didn't do.
yeah. And you know where I
You know
get
what
that
I'm
from?
Oh,
My
that brings up something.
my fake mentor, Jay-Z. Like, Jay-Z would donate money to certain causes and not say shit about it. Dream Hampton.
I don't want you to jump on my nuts because you know that I got this or that I did that and
or
shit.
that. He don't want nobody to know
that's
that.
coming from
that
an
I gave
unhealed
money
perspective,
at this.
in
Yeah,
my
that is
opinion.
unhealed. That would be
Yeah,
unhealed.
like-
To crave that attention or just want
The
somebody.
attention
Yeah.
seeking,
If you-
attention seeking.
If you baiting it, like something ain't right within yourself,
Yeah,
you need to
something
check
right
back
that you
in.
gotta say that, like, oh, I'm recording myself feeding the homeless and look at it. If I wasn't for me, they wouldn't eat. Like, nigga,
Matthew
they gonna
6.
eat still. Like, they
Matthew-
not gonna die because you not there feeding them pizza, nigga. Like,
Yeah.
stop that shit.
Matthew 6 say you shouldn't let your right hand know what your left hand is doing.
That's where that come from? The Bible?
Yes,
The
that's
Bible.
where it comes from the Bible.
No, my bad, because I thought that was just like an old saying.
No, it comes from the Bible.
I need to pick up that book.
In that, it's telling you it's telling you that, So in that, you shouldn't be doing things to get the credit, because then your credit is given to you right there from those people. And if you're looking for bigger than that, and you're looking for a real reward,
That goes back to the motherfucker that's doing the shit for a receipt.
Validation. It
For
comes down to
validation, just for the credit of
Instant
it.
gratification,
Yes.
validation,
Yeah.
and that's part of self-discipline and healing. So,
One of our viewers wrote, if you're not dependable, you will never know your worth. And I think that is key to the whole worth aspect that we were talking about.
yeah. Because I think a lot of times you think people think, well, I don't know, I can't say what anybody think, but in terms of leadership, you think that the leader, that everybody serves the leader, but really the leader is the servant. You know what I mean? And you have to come into the place of that understanding to really proclaim yourself as a healed individual.
Couldn't be a good leader if you weren't a good
Yes.
servant or
Yes.
follower at one
Yes,
point. You know what I
leader
mean?
serves-
Learner,
serves
essentially.
those who he lead. Yes, absolutely. So we are so grateful for this conversation tonight.
Absolutely.
And I'm just so thrilled that you all decided to be here with us tonight. We know
It sounds like we closing up.
We are.
Oh
If
my
that's
God.
okay. If that's okay. You
Shouldn't
have
you
more.
say nothing over there in the corner?
It's time to close
You.
on up.
I know this was your show today, baby.
Look
Yeah,
at you.
we really. So, if
I
you
wanted to-
have any closing thoughts? Also, go ahead. You have something else to say?
Well, I was going to ask about, what were your opinions about like societal influences on men, or the weight that a man carries on how society say you should be? Because I feel like that has a lot of people are healing from that as well, where it's giving them an inner battle with self.
Society.
Depend on which part of society you live in. Are you in what culture you're in, and what culture leads your life? Depends on that. So if you you have to overcome it all. You know, because people are going to put an expectation on you that you're never going to meet. You could be to this or to that, or no matter what, you're not going to satisfy everybody. So knowing that, make moves to make yourself whole and not hurt others. If it's not going to hurt nobody else and it's going to make you better, that's the best decision.
Be who you need to be for the people that genuinely love you and that you love. Keyword, genuinely love.
Yeah.
Because you don't want that fake love, motherfuckers. You got to turn you into who they want you to be and shit, manipulatively.
I'm agree with both of y'all. And the only thing that I do as far as like what society expects me to do, if I can look in the mirror every night and be able to go to sleep peacefully, like I've done okay. I've done good. Like social media is a super huge influence on how men are supposed to operate. For
quote.
people who are listening, I'm using air quotes.
Are you real active on social media?
Oh, I'm super active.
So
on
what is
social
the
media.
influence of that? Because that is a thing. That is a thing, and them that type of pressure on men today. I
I mean, they do have a
no.
huge pressure. Mark, is it okay if we go over a little bit? Thank you.
Okay, we go over.
I apologize. You the
That's
host. I
fine.
apologize.
This is a great. Hey, we need.
I mean,
this
we already
lean
over,
yesterday.
but to make your point, go ahead.
Yes, we need this conversation.
Social media is it's a form of life now. Like we can't sit here and say that it's not. It really affects a lot of things that we do politically. A lot of people get their news from Facebook, Instagram. Like they don't.
The
look
news
at,
gets their shit from Facebook.
Okay.
That part.
Like we literally, the news get their things from
The
Mark.
news gets
7
the
Mile
news
Radio.
From 7 Mile Radio.
Fuck.
So social media definitely has an impact on how we operate in our daily lives, weekly, like just our life period. Social media had it to where dudes was thinking that a date to whatever restaurant that they love and appreciate is a bad date for a woman when here's what a date is supposed to be. So social media definitely has created this crook in society to where how we grew up is not how we're supposed to operate, and it's a blinding thing because we'll look at social media and say that person looks beautiful and that's how I'm supposed to look, and that person they're doing great, that's how I'm supposed to do, and we don't know that these motherfuckers are struggling.
Right.
Like, is they faking it for real? Like, they walk around with fake money and rented cars and all of this shit, and we're sitting there killing ourselves, overworking and disrespecting people and doing all types of shit to be like these people who we don't even know, who are social media influencers, and they're influencing our lives. Like, we're looking at things on, oh, what would you do with this? And guess what? This person was just texting themselves from a text now number to make up this story. Or this thing that you see on this video, it's a skit, it's made up. And we're like, oh, I wouldn't do that, and I wouldn't do that. This situation would never happen to you, bro. Like, calm down. We know you wouldn't do it. You don't have the means to do anything. So chill out. Social media. I was talking with somebody about Vivica Fox and her current situation, where she was
want to
like,
get married now.
she's like, yeah, I'm 60, I want to get married and blah blah blah. And I said how
She only want a black man, like
yeah. And I said how I felt about it, but I kept making the reiteration. Vivica Fox wouldn't look at me halfway. And I'm a sexy bitch for sure. Like, lazy eye, overweight and all. I'm a bad nigga out here for sure. I'm worth it. But Vivica Fox has no reason to look my way. No reason to look at my 60, 70,000 a year. She has no reason to look my way. So I wouldn't take her, nigga. She wouldn't take you. Like, be cool. Like,
Are who you? That's what I say to a lot of, well, people in general. I ain't gonna say women. Are you the person that you wants? Like, you got all of this list of expectations. This motherfucker better have this and this and this and this. But when that motherfucker walk in the damn room and look at you, do he say, "Oh, I want that"?
because I guarantee whatever
90% of the time is hell fuck no.
And whatever Vivica says she wants, guess what? She gonna get that because there's 3 billion men on this earth, and she can get her pick of
Exactly,
what
because
she wants.
she's who
she
she
put it
is.
out there who she wants. That's the
different.
most non-toxic and healed shit that you can do.
It's a
That
whole
you can
different
say,
approach.
I want a man who gonna shop for me and do this and do that and suck my
And
toes and
expect
blah
it.
blah blah. And guess what? It's a man out there who got 2-3 million.
Just
and
don't subscribe to that.
he gonna do it. Speaking of subscribe, these women, look at these niggas' phones. They got OnlyFans. Them the women they want. I ain't gonna
That's
take no
another
woman that's doing
conversation.
something.
That's a whole other conversation. We're
that's
getting
what-
on that.
Talk about social media, Craig.
Social media, it dictates for a man for me as a black man, it's different. You know, it's not the same for black women. You know, so you could have everything in your life in order and not get the response or the love that the people who don't have anything in their lives in order get in social media. So you can't let what people think or who people like be how you dictate and feel about yourself. You know, you have to know that what you have, if you're complete, is greatness. And if the whole world in social media world don't acknowledge it, you have to acknowledge it yourself. And those who need to acknowledge it will find you, and they will as well. So social media to me is not.
Boy, this
it's
the
not a
sage
place you
right
wanna
here.
be.
Yes, he is.
What's your Facebook? I gotta follow you, bro.
My guy.
Okay, y'all. I think we're gonna wrap up, Mark. We appreciate y'all being here tonight. We just like it's new beginnings in the air. We all feel it. We hope we've shared some of that positive energy with everybody. Osa, you want to close us out? Good night and good day. I'm gonna say that. Go ahead.
Yes, I just say love on your people, love on yourself, and love on your
Continue.
people. You know, show them love in a way that they can feel it and they understand it.
Yes.
And peace and love. We out.
Open up. Open up.
You are now tuned in to 7 Mile Radio.
Production.